The description below provides sources for the content of this video. In the shadowed halls of history, where facts intertwine with fiction, whispers of Adolf Hitler's alleged Jewish ancestry have echoed for decades. The narrative, shadowed in uncertainty and speculation, has been the subject of endless debates and controversies. The origins of this myth can be traced back to the fact that Hitler's father, Alois Hitler, was born out of wedlock, and his grandfather has never been revealed. This ambiguity allowed for the speculation that Hitler's grandfather was of Jewish heritage, implying that Adolf Hitler, a man who harbored an intense and obsessive hatred for Jews and dedicated his life to attempting to eradicate them from Europe, and potentially the entire world, could himself have been one-quarter Jewish. At the heart of this mysterious tale lies the Frankenberger thesis. The Frankenberger thesis originated from the memoirs of Hans Frank, who acted as Hitler's lawyer in the late 1920s and early 1930s. Frank claimed that he was commissioned by Hitler in 1930 to discreetly investigate the parentage of Hitler's father, Alois Hitler. According to Frank, he discovered that Alois' mother, Maria Anna Schicklgruber, had been employed as a cook for a Jewish family in Graz, Austria, and had an affair with a Jewish man in the household, who could have been the father of Alois. However, one of the key arguments against the Frankenberger myth is the absence of a Jewish presence in Graz, Austria, during the time when Alois Hitler was conceived. Most historians agree that there was no Jewish presence in Graz between the Jews' expulsion from the Styria region in the late 15th century, and the re-establishment of communal life in the 1860s. This makes it highly unlikely that Hitler's paternal grandfather was a Jewish man from Graz. Furthermore, there is no record of a Jewish family named Frankenberger living in Graz during that time. Historians have cast doubt on Hans Frank's claims, primarily due to the lack of evidence supporting the existence of a Jewish man named Leopold Frankenberger in Graz, during the time when Alois Hitler was conceived. Additionally, Frank's credibility has been questioned, as he was executed for war crimes during the Nuremberg trials and his memoir was published posthumously. Some historians argue that Frank may have fabricated the story to distance himself from Hitler and the Nazi regime, or to create a sensational narrative that would capture the public's attention. A study by psychologist and physician Leonard Sachs attempted to shed new light on the claim that Hitler's paternal grandfather had Jewish roots. Sachs claimed that there had been a small, now settled Jewish community in Graz as of 1850, and that although there is no direct evidence of a Jewish man named Leopold Frankenberger living in Graz, it is possible that such a person existed. However, the study has been met with skepticism by prominent historians, who argue that there is still no concrete evidence to support the claim. However, a DNA study conducted by Belgian researchers Jean-Paul Mulders and Mark Vermeeren suggests that Adolf Hitler may have had Jewish and African ancestors. The study involved collecting saliva samples from 39 of Hitler's living relatives, including a great-nephew, Alexander Stuart Houston, who lives in New York, and an Austrian cousin. The researchers found a chromosome called haplogroup E1b1b Y-DNA in the samples, which is rare in Germany and Western Europe but more common among Ashkenazi and Sephardic Jews, as well as among Berbers of Morocco, Algeria, Libya, and Tunisia. This finding implies a possible biological link between Hitler and the very groups he sought to exterminate. However, it is important to note that this DNA study does not provide definitive proof of Hitler's Jewish ancestry. While the E1b1b chromosome is more common among Africans and Jews and rarer among Europeans, many Europeans still have it. We all are related if you go back far enough, and it's unlikely Hitler would have been classified as Jewish by his own laws. It cannot be overstated that Hitler's ancestry has been fully verified on his mother's side, with the identity of his paternal grandfather remaining the only mystery, and it is highly unlikely that his paternal grandfather was Jewish. Given the historical expulsion of Jews from the specific region of Austria in question, coupled with the total absence of any records of a Frankenberger family's existence during that era, the likelihood of his paternal grandfather being Jewish is virtually impossible. It's fascinating how myths and reality intertwine, isn't it? In my previous videos, many people raised the enduring rumor that Hitler had Jewish ancestry. It's easy to see why this idea gains traction. It's got an undeniable ironic twist considering Hitler's hateful obsessions. But as we've explored today, this claim is likely more myth than truth. While every source I've delved into debunks the claim of Hitler's Jewish ancestry, and I've yet to encounter evidence supporting this theory, I approach this subject with an open mind and a willingness to consider counter-arguments. If any of you are privy to credible evidence that lends support to this theory, I encourage you to share it in the comments section down below. Nevertheless, contrary to the likely false narrative of Hitler's Jewish ancestry, there's a true and equally ironic aspect of his life: the significant support he received from Jewish individuals. From his childhood Jewish physician who provided free healthcare to his poor family, to the Jewish art dealers who were the only ones who bought Hitler's paintings following his rejection from art school, and subsequent plunge into homelessness, many Jewish people went out of their way to help Hitler, and Hitler would probably not have achieved any success without his Jewish friends, yet he still hated the Jewish race obsessively and almost exterminated it from Europe. There is a video I made about this topic, which you can watch by clicking here.